ball therapy as its omniscience package. If you are in the StarCityGames.com newsletter circles, I believe you saw Jerry Thompson feature this deck list pretty recently. I think even a deck list digest for our premium newsletter. Not really sure. I'll be honest. Editing all those newsletters, they really start to blend together.
Yeah, I can understand. I mean, I read them all, and I do remember Jerry doing a little write-up about the no intel deck.
I think it's a super exciting new take on the deck. The interaction with Academy Rector Omniscience is very powerful.
So was that both players?
And yeah, we're in this game, and if you haven't noticed already, both players are a little low on cards.
Both players apparently mulliganed.
Yeah, mulligan to 4. That's what our director is telling us. I think that favors Austin, I gotta be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
All his cards do the same thing, so it doesn't really matter if he has less.
Yeah. So we see a Grim Lavamancer and a Flame Rift to follow it up from Austin.
Michael's on 15. A little slow in the life totals there, while Austin's on 19. That Flame Rift and that Grim Lavamancer doing a little damage.
Flame Rift, a card I completely forgot about until a friend of mine was playing it against me with his burn deck.
You know, I've played Snapcaster Mage's Flame Rift a great deal in Standard in conjunction with Mutagenic Growth. So you combo it up, Mutagenic Growth your guy, Snapcaster Mage your Mutagenic Growth.
Oh, nice. Interesting.
Standard Flame?
Yeah.
2-card combo to make your Nemesis common, but you know, we do what we can.
You gotta work with what you've got,
13.
yeah. Cavern is on Cleric.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder what Academy Rector he could possibly be wanting to cast.
And that Goblin Guide hits Michael's second land, if that makes sense to you, which is a good time for the Goblin Guide to come down, I guess, then. As good as any, considering it wasn't turn 1. Austin appears to have a preponderance of land for a burn deck. He really doesn't need more than 2. And he's already doubled up to 4.
We saw him hit 6 lands against the life gain deck.
That's just rubbing salt in the wound.
Yeah, seriously. He's like, I could cast Inferno Titan right now.
I've been there.
There is a very attractively altered Tropical Island.
Little Birds of Paradise at the bottom there.
Yeah,
the old Alpha Beta Unlimited style.
Haven't seen Academy Rector in a while myself, but I remember playing with it in Standard, fetching Yawgmoth's Bargain.
Oh, that's a fair card.
Yeah,
as cards go.
Yeah, I mean, it's not strong enough for Legacy. Neither is Necropotence, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, these cards obviously awful cards.
Yeah.
You don't ever see playing Legacy for some strange reason.
Nobody plays them ever. Yeah, it's weird.
So, Living Wish finds Boseiju.
Yeah, amusingly, Michael is playing the legal version of these cards in Gristlebrand.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Science deck.
Gristlebrand with the he's got a Necropotence stapled to his back.
Yep.
Or a Bargain stapled to his back, however you want to.
But you know, they balanced it out because they attached it to a 7/7 creature.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
otherwise it was.
Creatures are more vulnerable than enchantments, is what it is.
Price of Progress is going to punish Michael for his 2 lands.
Michael going to go to 5 though.
Yep, and now he's dead.
Yeah, I think so. Chain Lightning puts him to 2. I'll attack you for 2.
And I'll Grim Lavamancer in response? No? All right.
No, it was just, yeah. That was a rough start. And as you mentioned, both players mulliganing to 4 favors the deck that can run off of, you know, just a couple of lands.
If you think about it, Burn really is sort of a kooky variety of Legacy combo deck. It's just like a worse combo because it's much easier to defeat, speaking just objectively against its hate cards. But really, the combo is draw like 6 spells. Like that's the combo. If you manage to draw 6 spells and they all resolve, you probably will win. No Intel obviously doesn't need quite that many spells, but it needs some specific ones. So as you mulligan, it gets kind of hard to assemble the combinations, whereas Austin's still on the plan, you know?
Yeah, generally, exactly. Generally, each spell does about 3.
Yep.
So if you, some do more. You saw Price of Progress do 4 right there. Flame Rift does 4. And also opposing fetch lands help a lot of times. So just even if you can just do 18, that's probably enough.
Mulligans also make a lot of Austin's threats that might normally die or be outclassed go unanswered for a little longer. Like Goblin Guide and Grim Lavamancer, they can stick around longer than usual because the opponent just doesn't have enough cards to progress their game plan and deal with your creature at the same time.
So Academy Rector, for those of you guys who may not have ever played it or seen it or just be unfamiliar with it, was printed in a block that was notoriously underpowered. Unfair. Sorry, wrong unword. Urza's block.
Notoriously underpowered Urza's block.
Yeah. It is a 1/2 for 4, obviously awful.
Yeah.
When it dies, you may exile it. If you do, search your library for an enchantment card, put that card onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. This is the Oracle text, of course. So, in Standard back then, it was Yawgmoth's Bargain, printed in the same set, Urza's Destiny.
Yep.
And now here in Legacy, it finds Omniscience.
One of the most amusing things about Academy Rector at the time of its printing was that it could do a lot of things, and fetching Yawgmoth's Bargain was not even necessarily the most dangerous.
That's
it
my
was,
memory of it. Yeah.
Oh no, it was definitely a thing, but it was also a card that replenished decks played from time to time. And that deck obviously had a toolbox of enchantments that could do a variety of things, all of them leading to bad times for the opponent. So, Academy Rector, pretty powerful card. Also worth noting is that it is a trigger, which means that it is a tutor that is vulnerable to graveyard hate, which is kind of awkward, but people don't really think about it.
Huh. Also can be stifled, I suppose, there, yeah.
Yep. So there are cards that you might not normally think are sideboard material against a deck like this that all of a sudden seem a little more reasonable.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it in action here. I imagine Austin won't be trying to shoot it with the Grim Lava Master.
One of the amusing things about this game is that Austin doesn't really have any reason to put Michael on anything beyond a Bant mid-range deck, because if you think about it, he saw Tropical Island and Cavern of Souls,
That's a good
which
point.
are cards mostly only played by Bant. Naming Cleric is obviously a little odd. He's probably in the tank on that one. What's the Cleric? Is it Academy Rector?
Right.
So unless Austin is really up on his legacy, because this deck, keep in mind, it debuted, I think, in Japan like last week. So
yeah, it is
people
very
are not
fresh.
aware of
the
Rector.
Omniscience. Yeah, the Omniscience deck in general is pretty fresh. So there's a turn 1 Goblin Guide. Finds Michael a Polluted Delta to add to his collection of Polluted Deltas already on the board. Collection of 1. But also knocks him to 18.
Looks like both players kept this time, so we might see a real game from
Yeah,
Valentel.
that'd be nice.
And he's fortunate in that he's in a sideboard game where his opponent isn't likely to have much hate for him, because doesn't really know what's going on. But if you look at Austin's sideboard, he doesn't have much hate to start with.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a couple of mind break traps, which I think he would have brought in if he knew the deal, you think?
I don't think he would. Like, they don't really... Omniscience isn't going to cast a bunch of spells unless he messes up, really. Like, he'd have to do something like Cabal Therapy, Lotus Petal you, and then cast a Show and Tell, and that's like the only way to turn it on. So.
I'm thinking about the old Omniscience deck, the other one from like last week, not just this week.
It is difficult to keep
No,
track.
I mean the Burning Wish for empty
Petals of
Warrens.
Insight
Yeah,
and
you use
whatnot,
Petals of Insight and all that kind of thing. That's what I was thinking about.
In fact, he might have brought these cards in if he thinks his opponent's on this combo deck. And
yeah, but naming Cleric may, like you said, if he's up on things, naming Cleric already gives away that he's not that version.
I'm honestly pretty curious. Maybe we can try and ask Austin at some point what he thought after game 1, because I'd be curious to know how he decided to sideboard.
I imagine he may have brought in the red Elemental Blast, just because he did see blue.
He saw the Tropical Island, so he probably hedged a little bit, figuring, I might as well bring in a couple of these, we'll see what's up.
Yeah.
Michael fetches up his sweet Tropical Island and Living Wishes.
Interesting, as you mentioned about Academy Rector being able to be interacted with in the graveyard before the trigger resolves. Austin does have 4 copies of Fairy Macabre, which, if it's available in his hand, he can interact with the Academy Rector that way. Again, we don't know what Austin knows or what he brought in, but it's just thinking about possibilities here.
Even if I know that my opponent has Academy Rector, I'm not sure I would want to bring in a Fairy Macabre. It's kind of a questionable card. It's only good in that one very specific situation.
I agree.
Michael allows Vexing Devil to resolve. That's interesting. I think we should be expecting something to be shown and perhaps telled very soon.
Yeah, telled. Shown and telled.
Shown and telled. Phyrexian Tower. Nice with Academy Rector, of course.
There's a show and tell. Does Austin have... No, he has something he wants to show and tell, and I imagine...
It's a mountain, and that's a Gristlebrand.
Yeah.
Well, I think that Michael came out ahead.
Yeah, I think so too.
On the show and tell.
Yeah, with the... that's a bargain.
Oh,
3 mana for
played,
Gristlebrand.
Mr.
It's a bargain. Yeah, so...
I'm gonna go ahead and say that this one might be coming down on Michael's side. Austin needs an answer to that Gristlebrand right now, or it's gonna take over the game in short order.
Austin is cursed to only be featured on camera against decks with creatures with lifelink.
He has Sulfuric Vortex in his sideboard, but like we said, after game 1, it would be hard to know if that's something you would bring in.
Yeah.
Austin tanking, like, can I race 7 a turn? This is going to be weird. Keep in mind that this deck, it is theoretically possible, especially with a Vexing Devil actually as a creature in play, to race a Gristlebrand once it starts attacking, but at this point, he's not really in good shape to attack. He probably just has to pass the turn.
Yeah,
maybe with a burn spell or something.
15's a pretty hefty life total, pretty healthy, and Austin, not only that, but he's got a 7/7 lifelinker, so...
Oh, he's gonna... Oh, this is bold.
Yeah.
The problem with an attack here is that if his opponent blocks, gains the 7, he just gets a free 7 cards, basically. The game state is worse for Austin, and Michael gets more cards. So that's really, really problematic. I think if I'm Michael, I just block Goblin Guide, because that way my opponent has to play a bunch of spells in order to kill it. He'd have to like play a Chain Lightning, get another card in the graveyard, and Grim Lavamancer it, so you get the most value that way.
Goblin Guy's trigger shows us a second Gristlebrand
yeah.
on top.
You can also just not block. One of the reasons that this attack is reasonable for Austin is because if Michael doesn't block, it restricts his ability to Gristlebrand for cards aggressively. Anytime that Austin can counterattack a Gristlebrand attack for lethal, it's going to be a turn where Michael can't really afford to draw. He's going to decide to go ahead and get rid of the biggest guy.
Yeah, so Gristlebrand in front of the Vexing Devil.
Yeah. You know, I actually misspoke before because the Grim Lavamancer will be able to use the dead creature to zap the Gristlebrand, so it's basically the same.
Yeah, good point.
That was my bad.
So Michael's going to draw some cards here.
One at a time.
Yeah.
It feels a lot better when you draw the 7 one at a time. If you just pick them all up at the same time, it's not. You lose the drama of the moment.
Exactly. It's like opening all your Christmas presents at one time.
Yeah,
like,
you really want to like check. Oh, this one's from Aunt Pat. Okay.
Yeah, you want to enjoy each one for just a little bit of time, and then give each one the attention it deserves. So we saw Chain Lightning in concert with Vexing Devil take down the Gristlebrand. Michael able to get 7 cards out of the deal, one of which we know was a second Gristlebrand.
Yep,
and a second Show and Tell was in there too. I just saw it kind of flash back real quick.
Well, that's bad news for Austin because he is out of gas and probably soon out of time.
Yeah, Michael at 13 here after drawing those 7 cards. So last turn, during Austin's turn, he started at 15. He took 2 from a Goblin Guide, lost a Gristlebrand, but somehow ended up 7 cards. I mean, I don't know how that happens, but
magic you.
Yeah. So Michael taking a while here.
I mean, he's got like 9 cards in his hand. He's got options.
Yeah, he's got a lot of options. I don't think Michael's having any trouble determining what sort of deck Austin's on, so he can safely probably feel like basically at this point he's only afraid of a red Elemental Blast as far as playing like Show and Tell, Omniscience or something, which could very well be there.
He may or may not have boarded out his Force of Wills and or his Cabal Therapies, which would restrict his ability, but he does have Gitaxian Probes. I can't imagine he boarded those out. Those seem like just, I mean, how many cards can you really board out?
So someone asks on Twitter, Dan McCowan or McCone asks about Michael's Tropical Island. That is it's just an altered art. Like he had somebody extend the art of the Tropical Island with a.
I don't recognize the style offhand. It looks a little bit like Ron Ferris, who's an altruist who comes to a lot of the SCG events, but I couldn't really say that for sure. There's no way for me to know. It just a similar style. I've seen the birds alter on Trops before. A couple different people have done it, so just a nice take on a familiar theme.
Absolutely. Otherwise, I think it's just a revised Trop. And there's a Show and Tell.
Academy Rector.
It's Academy Rector.
We're gonna sack it for mana. What are we gonna get?
Why would he just play that creature and then just kill it right away? That's
now.
really
That's
weird.
Not good.
So, well, I guess he's gonna find an enchantment. It's what is that? What could that be?
That looks like an Omniscience?
Omniscience, that new card from...
Omniseance?
but also, since Omniscience resolved, I guess I'll play this other Gristlebrand.
And then
this Living Wish, which I'm going to use to find this guy. Cool, right? It's like big. And I'll play him, and I'll take another turn.
Well, really, that turn was all about Michael just deciding, man, does he have that Pyroblast or Red Elemental Blast?
Yeah.
Nope, all right, get you.
Well, now Austin knows what deck Michael's on.
Yep.
So for game 3,
he's going to the sideboard.
Maybe he's able to figure out
he's changing some things
a little bit about what he wants to do here. Yeah.
I can't really see much of what's going on in Austin's deck to know exactly how he boarded, but it definitely looks like he's correcting some things.
Yeah, he's making some changes.
I think he may have had the wrong read before.
Still, I think if he did bring in the Red Blast, I would imagine he did bring in the Red Blast.
Yep.
Just didn't see any.
All four will definitely be in his deck now. He may also be
Yeah.
bringing in the Sulfuric Vortex. I don't think, like I said, that Macabre is necessarily worthwhile, although he may disagree with me, so we'll have to see what happens there.
Yeah, I actually don't like it. Like you said, it's very narrow. It's such a specific situation to actually be able to kind of get you, and otherwise it's an unplayable card. It's a dead card. When you mentioned, it doesn't do any damage as far as Austin's concerned.
Now, if he wants to be a real baller and side out some lands for those Fairy Macabres, I might be okay with that.
Yeah, he could be pretty bold there. I mean, we saw him attack with a Vexing Devil and a Goblin Guide into a Bristlebrand. So
yeah, I still don't know if I like that play. It's you kind of have to decide how you're going to try and win. That's definitely a tree moment. It's like go take this branch or this branch.
Right.
I think I would probably have not attacked, but then again, both of us probably would have lost the game. So I'll give Austin the credit since he's the one of us, of the two of us, he has actually won an open with Burn.
That's true.
Which I can't claim to have done myself.
He's Burn's been good to him, so he's gonna keep picking it up for now. Christian Wright on Twitter mentions about Academy Rector resolving is kind of like a virtual fog if he doesn't immediately sacrifice it, because Austin doesn't want to attack into it to kill it. So
the only issue there is that Academy Rector's not really coming down much earlier than turn 3, and that by then Austin's done a lot of his attacking already.
Yeah.
He's planning to throw a flurry of burn spells to the face on turn 4. That's the burn deck's general kill turn. It can kill later. It can even, I guess, kill earlier. I don't know exactly, but it seems likely. But turn 4 is like the usuals. So
any other interesting decks you've seen today that maybe started off okay, but maybe fell off and didn't end up getting featured?
Not really. The Painted Stone Dredge deck started off with a couple wins, but he's not in top 8 contention anymore. His teammate Joe lost it on Counterbalance. You guys saw him last match. Actually, I should also note, Joe's last name is actually pronounced Lissette. His family name had an E on the end, but was removed a few generations back, and now it just gets mispronounced all the time, including by yours truly. So
yeah, I keep calling him Joe Lossett because that's what I've heard. But,
I'm not gonna
Joe
lie,
Lissette. I'll try to
I'm
remember
going to
that.
keep calling him Joe Lossett, but I've done my due diligence and thrown it out there that I'm wrong. So if you happen to see Joe, you can choose your poison, I guess, when it comes to his last name.
Turn 1 Rift Bolt from Austin.
That is not an ideal turn 1 for Austin. He would much rather have a Goblin Guide or something better.
So apparently my last name was actually Pascucci before it was shortened to Pasco.
I could believe that. That's not that uncommon.
I have,
especially for Italian names when those nationalities are immigrating. But we are getting way afield.
Yes, we are. I just figured, you mentioned the
you're
missing
trapping
from
me
Joe
into my history
Lossett.
conversations.
And we've got a turn 1 fetch. Look at that, that's an altered swamp.
Yeah.
It's got a little ghost coming out of the water.
Michael likes the altars. I'm trying to see that signature. I know that it looks familiar, but I can't place it. So my bad there. Oh, we're zooming in, but
Michael no-sirs us by just blocking the view.
Well played.
Yeah, he's
well played.
I am not gonna let you guys see. In fact, if I have a way to sacrifice this swamp,
I'm gonna guess he's not
to.
Cabal Therapying for Goblin Guy here. I would guess he did Red Blast. Oh, he did Flame Rift and he hit. What a monster!
Wow!
What a monster! Yeah. Oh man, that is a crippling blow to Austin.
Yeah, that was just.
Keep in mind, all Austin wants to do in a game of Magic the Gathering is draw 6 spells, and he just lost 2.
That's brutal.
Jeez. Michael pulling a Mike Turian right there with the blind Cabal Therapy for max value.
I mean, he didn't hit 4, so it wasn't max value.
I'll take 2.
Did he draw one off the top?
That does appear to be the case.
Does.
Well,
Austin's like, good thing this one was on the top and not in my hand.
Let's make sure we get rid of it before therapy on the next turn.
You're just going to name it again and hit the same one. Oh, gosh.
Wow, Michael is on a reasonably low life total, but this is a great position for him. Goblin Guide, one of the cards he didn't want to see. The Goblin Guide doesn't have to connect too many more times to bring Michael within top deck range, especially with a Fire Blast already in play.
Brainstorm from Michael.
I'm going to guess a land might wind up on top of Michael's library at the end of this brainstorm. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I'd go with that.
That's your feeling? One of my favorite parts about playing Blue-Red Delver was people would brainstorm and then, you drop a Goblin Guide and they cringe because they know they did it wrong. It's a good feeling.
Yeah. Well, there's that brainstorm. Goblin Guide attacks. Ha! Look at that. Misty Rainforest. Man, he always has it. So lucky.
A Lava Spike follows up. That's going to leave Michael in range. He's on 7. Austin has a Fire Blast in his hand. He pretty much just needs Spell unless Michael does something pretty aggressive here. Michael also can, somehow get his Cabal Therapy down and flashback it.
Yeah.
But all that really will do is make Austin cast Fire Blast and lose all his lands. So I'm not sure if that's quite where he wants to be.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the worst thing for Austin because he top decks like a mountain and spell. Mountain bolt, mountain chain lightning. And
if it's an Academy Rector and he can get an Omniscience and then play something sweet, that'd be good. But I don't think that's the case here. Oh, show and tell for Academy Rector.
I guess that's that.
He's gonna flashback it. Austin is gonna respond with the Fire
Blast.
Blast.
As we mentioned. So Cabal Therapy, flashback,
now,
Academy Rector.
Michael still needs a creature or something to keep the Goblin Guide from hitting him, because once he goes to 1, he can't get any of his fetch lands anymore. So
does he need to hit his fetch lands? Really?
He might.
I mean, he can cast everything for free. It's like fine. I'm at 1. Can't play a fetch land. Can't crack a fetch land.
Can't let me have.
Don't care.
Can't let me have any fun. I was gonna keep that one going. We were gonna talk about it. It was gonna be so good.
So there's the no half of the no and sell.
Well, Austin has no lands.
No, that's another no half, but it's a different no.
And Living Wish means he probably has no hope. We're gonna Living Wish for Emrakul.
Austin has Michael
we're
to 3.
Cast it, and we're gonna remove our opponent's only remaining permanent Goblin Guide from the battlefield on the following turn. I'm gonna go ahead and call this one in Michael's favor. I think he has the match.
I think so too. Yeah, there's a Ponder
for good measure.
For free, just for fun. Let's see if there's anything else I can play.
I think he. Oh no, my bad. That Brainstorm looked kind of like a Cabal Therapist. I was just a little confused for a second. Well, these 3. Gotta think about it.
Yeah, I have Emrakul on board, but I better think about this because that Goblin Guide. Seriously.
Our opponent literally won't be able to play a spell next turn.
Right,
so
he can. The best he can do.
He's even at 14 as the result of the Flame Rift. He doesn't even get an extra.
He doesn't. That's it. I don't know what the question is. I mean, I understand.
Austin, just kill me, man. Just
what? If I'm Austin, I'm like, concede before your Ponders finish resolving. You didn't attack me with Emrakul.
I think Michael's, limit saying, I got a little tunnel vision there. I forgot you were at 14. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And Austin's like, it's cool, man. Yeah. Austin is a good-natured opponent.
He certainly is.
He lives by the lightning bolt and he dies by the lightning bolt.
I don't think a lightning bolt killed him that game.